Hi there, thank you for stopping by my channel and watching this video. I am starting my chakra series today, a brief introduction to each chakra and how they can affect you and your health and your general well-being in the world. We're starting out with the root chakra. So when you see pictures of the chakras, if you have before, or artistic representations, each chakra has a color and they're stacked from the base of the spine to just above the crown of the head. This chakra's color is red, and it's located at the base of the spine, so right at the tailbone, and then it continues on down the legs all the way to the feet to help facilitate grounding. The root chakra symbolizes a few things for us. So first of all, our right to be here on earth and to have what we need to survive and thrive. Our relationship to our body, and then via that, our relationship to the earth. So basically our connection to the physical world. And then our ability to ground, to establish ourselves in that physical world. So like plants, humans need roots. In this case, it's more metaphorical roots, but we need to be able to ground down in order to grow up or to facilitate energy to come up and then also allow energy to flow down again, because we always want that energy flow up and down to be as clear as possible. When the root chakra is balanced, we're healthy and comfortable in our bodies. We have a sense of trust in the world. We feel safe and secure, and we're able to relax and experience abundance and prosperity. Sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? So now let's talk about the ways that things can go wrong. So in the chakras, when things go wrong or are out of balance is a nicer way to say it, it happens in one of two ways. The energy of the chakra can become really restricted, and we call that deficient, where the energy flow in that area is blocked. So the compensation is to tighten up and contract and avoid. The other option is to have excessive energy, where it becomes kind of like a black hole of energy. It becomes really big and expanded, and energy flow is blocked in a different way because it gets stuck there, because there's so much space for it to get stuck. It can't continue on down the line or up the line. And then within each chakra, there are different elements that could be either excessive, deficient, or balanced. So a nice way to think of this is like petals of a flower, where you could have some really tiny deficient petals, some really big excessive petals, and then some medium balanced happy petals. When we're deficient, we have a life experience of not having or being much. Sorry, and this is deficiency specifically to the root chakra. We're back to our first chakra now. So you can experience a disconnect from your body, be unable to gain weight, feel fearful, anxious, and restless. You could experience poor focus and discipline, financial difficulty, poor boundaries, and chronic disorganization. On the other hand, if the energy is excessive, generally, we can see more weight gain, fixation on material things, even hoarding maybe. There can be sluggishness, laziness, you can feel tired all the time. You can have a fear of change and an addiction to security, that need for safety and rigid boundaries. So in that case, it's like a sense of more, and it's never enough, never enough. And physically in your body, an imbalance can look a few different ways. You can experience frequent illness, have bowel disorders or eating disorders. You could experience frequent injuries or pain to the physical area of the root chakra. So like we talked about, the pelvic floor, down the legs, knees, feet, ankles. And then just generally disorders of the solid parts of the body, so the bones and the teeth. And this can be caused by a few different things, and you'll notice that they tend to center on very early life, the physical body, and nourishment. They are trauma while being birthed, abandonment, physical neglect, poor early bonding with the mother, physical abuse, living or growing up in a violent environment, and or inherited trauma from the parents. So those things can sound really extreme, but for a child, or especially a really small baby, abandonment can look like just not being held enough or not being touched enough. So there are subtleties there, and it's definitely on a spectrum. It's not just like you were abandoned or you weren't abandoned. There are very much grades to that, and it also depends on our personal constitution and how we respond to those things happening in our lives. So if one or several of these things occurred, especially early in your life, what subconscious behaviors have you adopted to cope? And they may be very difficult to tease out, since usually they are established very early in life, and you may not fully remember or remember at all what happened and how that process occurred. So let's get to the more positive stuff now. How is this chakra healed? Because this is so important. To heal a chakra, we don't necessarily need to wade through everything that happened. Sometimes that is necessary for a person, and in that case, I would definitely recommend psychotherapy or counseling to help work through that trauma. But sometimes it's not worth going back there. Sometimes we have to think more forward and now, and how can I meet myself as I am to become the person that I want to be, or the best version that I possibly can. So to heal the root chakra, one of the first main things is we reconnect with the body. And this can happen in a few different ways. Purposeful physical activity is wonderful. However, this doesn't mean you would just go mindlessly pound out 4 miles on the treadmill and watch TV. It's more of an embodied experience when you move. That's why yoga tends to be so successful with stuff like this, because it really invites that coming inward and inhabiting your body as you move. So you're being really aware of your movements and your breath as you go. Some other options are safe and welcomed touch or massage. So notice it has to be safe and welcomed, but that physical touch in a productive way can be so calming for the nervous system, and again, help bring our awareness into our body. Doing grounding practice, so feeling the support of the earth. This can even just be laying on the floor and feeling that support of the floor underneath of you. It can also be a bit of a more energetic experience where you go outside in bare feet and you put your feet in the grass. You've maybe heard about this. There's a few different elements to it. First of all, you're probably not super used to having your bare feet in the grass, so it's a new sensation for the brain, which really brings you into the body. And then if we believe that the electromagnetic field of the earth does help regulate our bodies, then by putting your bare feet on the earth, you're getting that benefit too. In the winter, that can be a little trickier, but you can hug a tree, so you can connect your body to the tree, which is connected to the earth. So a few different options. And then I already mentioned yoga, but specifically hatha yoga, because it's a slower practice that allows you time to kind of marinate yourself in the pose, really feel what each aspect of your body is doing, each bone and joint and muscle, and to breathe into that. So hatha yoga is a great option. And then the other kind of way in is by energetically reclaiming your right to be here, your right to exist, your right to abundance and prosperity. And you can do that by affirmations, which could be something like, I love my body and I trust its wisdom, or I am here and I am real. Or you could come up with something that's more personal to you, but those things are very much in the vein of the root chakra. So when you learn to ground well, this increases your connection to yourself, your environment, and your ability to have, or to be abundant and to be prosperous. So there are so many benefits to attuning yourself to your first chakra. When we feel safe and we feel held and we trust, we can look around and we can see the world and we can really see what is there and available to us. So I hope you enjoyed this rundown of the first chakra. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I would love to chat with you about it. If you liked this video, please hit like below and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos, as I'm going to continue in the next 6 weeks to chat with you about the chakras further up the chain. We'll see you next time, and until then, take wonderful care of yourself.